Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 20 of the Cooler Guild. I'm your host, Coop, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van.
Hello.
We are recording on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Reign's fifth loss in a row, as well as some other news from around the NWSL. I don't want to talk about what happened yet.
Same.
So, did you do anything cool this past weekend?
Went to the gym. Really killing it on the Stairmaster.
Oh,
Become my new best friend
cool.
and also my worst enemy. I think I'm gonna trip. Every time I'm on it, I think I'm gonna trip.
They're tall steps. I feel like they should adjust the steps based on someone's height. Just like a little bit at least. There could be like two settings maybe.
Well, with my training, you're not allowed to hold on.
Oh.
So you're just like free climbing that thing.
Oh, hell no. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. But luckily the WNBA final was on, so I had that on my phone.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to, is following that. Because Friday night, was it Friday night was the first game? Game one?
No, game one was Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay. Well, game one was wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. I couldn't believe Minnesota did what they did, but I also could because I feel like Liberty kind of just chokes in these ways.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily they got it together for the second game, but man, what a choke job they had in that first game.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. I'm really conflicted on the Liberty for I would feel like obvious reasons that you know of.
It feels like rooting for Gotham.
Yeah. Well, for me, because Courtney Vandersloot's on the Liberty, this hat I have on her now is like one of the hats that she designed that was like based off of our high school colors or whatever. But like, I want to root for Courtney Vandersloot, but I don't want to root for Brianna Stewart and also the super team bullshit that they got going on there.
Yeah.
It's hard to root for that. And then the Minnesota Lynx are kind of, I feel like the team, a very, very likable team.
I agree.
So, I mean,
is game 3 tomorrow? Because the series is tied 1-1 now.
Yeah. And the next one will be in Minnesota, so I'm hoping that plays in their favor. Yeah, it's tomorrow at 5. This episode will probably be out around then. And then game 4 is on Friday, so
nice.
Definitely need to keep watching that. I wish the Storm did better this year, but
yeah.
Oh well. Before we get into the match, we want to remind people that the Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder Heart Podcast Network. You can either listen to us on our public feed, or if you're a Sounder Heart subscriber, on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network. If you'd like to become a subscriber, please visit our page at sounderheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything we're doing. Let's roll into a match recap. An unfortunate match recap.
Yep. On Saturday, the Reign took on the Utah Royals in Sandy. Seattle's downfall began in the 3rd minute when their atrocious corner defending returned and failed to clear the ball, leading to Chloe Lacasse' first goal for Utah. Within the next 13 minutes, James Turner picked up 2 yellow cards and was sent off, leaving the Reign down a player. Lacasse then went on to score twice before the halftime whistle. The second half was a better showing from the Reign, as they didn't allow another goal for the remainder of the match, resulting in a 0-3 loss. The Reign have now lost the last 5 matches, failing to score a single goal in that run. We still love you, but it's hard.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to this season now. Just wrapping up. Just please wrap it up. I mean, I would like you to figure out, leave on a high note. That would be nice. Leave on a high note, please. Don't know how likely that's going to be against Orlando. And unfortunately, our last home match is on a Friday, which I never am a fan of. But I mean, I like the Prime Video, but getting fans in the seats on a Friday, not as easy.
So general game notes. We were surprised, kind of excited. We got Captain Heidema.
You were saying that maybe that's like a thing that might help Heidema kind of step up her game, give her that leadership role.
Yeah. And honestly, like, she wasn't the worst player on the field for us.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, there's really just not a lot to work with within the whole team.
No, and especially what she had going forward, like, what was she gonna do?
Yeah.
There was no lemons to make lemonade.
Yeah. She's not Chewinga.
No. And what do we got going on the 10 position?
Nothing.
Okay, yeah. It's not great. We entered this match without Quinn again. Fishlock is still out as well. I think we can tell.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. I don't know what Quinn's timeline is. If Fishlock wants to make a push for the Euros, I would hope, we might see her before the season ends. But who knows?
Yeah.
Because we don't know much about what's going on there.
No, we've been left out of the loop as per usual. But yeah, that's it hasn't helped at all.
Not at all. We lose Huerta, and then right with that, we lose Quinn and Fishlock.
I mean, I say this every week, but should we be playing better? Yes. We're not, but we also just don't have the depth to bring in more quality players throughout the game.
Yeah, the lineup was kind of interesting from this match. Don't know that I expected things to go better, but we did get to kind of see some new. I mean, like Adama's got to start for once. You know, we don't really get to see that too often. But again, we're not working with a whole lot else.
No, and that midfield link is just so absent.
Yeah.
There's such a disconnect.
Yeah.
And so even if you have players that can be playmakers up front, there's no support behind them. So you're seeing these players come back and have to defend.
Yeah. And then what didn't help was the early red card that we got. So we already had issues with our midfield with the full lineup. And now we're dealing with having to go down a player for the rest of the match.
What a stupid decision on that second foul, too.
Right outside the box, too.
Yeah. So she gets her first yellow in the 4th minute, right after the goal.
James Turner. Yeah.
And then second yellow comes right outside the box, just straight up grabs a fistful of someone's shirt because they're getting past her. And that's a yellow. In Leanne Sanderson's statements, that's a yellow all day in my book, you know?
Get a new vocabulary, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
But yeah, so it was just stupid. There's obviously frustration already.
To me, it looked like frustration with the whole fucking season.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I get that, but like, I don't know, man. We brought in these like new players, and some of them I just don't see why we brought them in.
Yeah, there's going to be big questions in the off season. Probably a lot of moves.
Yeah.
I'm
fine with loan them out if we need to until their contracts are up, because we can't be hanging on to players that aren't gonna elevate this team.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a real challenge for Gallimore.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's going to be her real first big challenge, you know, with a full off season, with the, you know, an ownership group that's not in limbo. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And, you know, as much as I doubt a lot of what may happen there, I hope that I am pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good pieces that we are working with. I'm not saying everybody we've brought in is bad.
Right.
I just think that there hasn't been a lot of thought about how it's all going to work together sometimes with some of these players, and it's just not the right fit. That's all it is.
Yeah, it was like we were patching holes on a sinking ship.
We got brought in 2 Welsh players. Like, I don't know, was that the right move?
No.
I'm not it doesn't seem like it was at all. So I would like to be more thoughtful.
Yeah. That was also the beginning of the season when we didn't have a lot of room to make any moves.
Yeah.
It's just another consequence of that sail dragging its feet.
I'm tired. I'm just like so tired of having to just think about why this is all not good, because it's very obvious why, and there was nothing we could have really done to prevent it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. I just feel like we were dealt a really, really shitty hand, and the ownership thing just is a big part of why that happened, and there was nothing we could have done differently in terms of that, at least. Fingers crossed for the off season to go better.
Yeah. I mean, there was a light at the end of the tunnel for a minute in this game. Well, I mean, we were down 3-0, don't get me wrong.
But we've come back.
We
have.
But we get a penalty call in about 50th, 51st minute.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we're lining up to have our first corner of the match. Let's take that in for a second. And then during the run-up, Heidema gets absolutely bodied by Pogart. Boom.
They had been kind of having a little bit of a battle.
Yeah, and you could hear the official warning them before.
Yeah.
And they start their runs, and she just basically like boxed her out.
Yeah.
Forcefully.
Like
shoulder charge.
Almost a tackle.
And penalty's called, but then it goes to VAR, and he takes a look at it, and apparently the ball was not in play yet. Looked to me like it had left her foot.
Yeah. It would have to be so clear and obvious to me for that to get overturned, for that being the reason. It was not clear and obvious to me.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because give us one goal in the 5th, you know, like a few, like 5-6 minutes after the half, right? Give us a penalty. Maybe we score it. That changes the whole dynamic of the game. I mean, we're still down a player, but we have proved before that we can still come back being down a player. So I'm not like counting this team out if they can get that one goal in whatever way they can. You know, it doesn't need to be pretty. We didn't ever get a call for whatever reason. The ref was angry. His name was Elvis.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I mean, maybe I'd be mad at the world too and just doing stupid shit if my name was Elvis. I don't know.
I think the thing for me is, I mean, you're right in what you just said, but the thing that frustrates me is there's not somebody on the field who doesn't realize that they can be that infusion.
Yeah, totally.
This doesn't seem it seems very the play seems very individual in the wrong ways.
Yeah.
In the way that you don't have somebody who's just not passing the ball and trying to take people on because they want to win the game. No, you don't have that. You're having players scapegoat themselves out by passing the ball back every 3 seconds. They don't want to be the problem, but they also don't want to be the hero. And that's what baffles me.
Yeah, it sucks.
So with that, we're officially eliminated from the playoffs.
Unsurprising.
I'm about to buy a lot of people beers.
Hopefully not more than 2, right?
I don't remember.
Oh man. Because you had me and Ron. You had me and Ron. Did you keep it going after that? You were just
I think
like
I
on a
might have
tear
run
after
2 beers at this point. Because I think we
okay.
might have double or nothing.
I was like, we had the win streak. Maybe you got too ambitious.
Yeah, I might have.
Looking forward to my drink. Notable stats. We said this in the match recap, but Reign haven't scored in 5 matches. Reign have lost 5 matches. I think we have some obvious problems with our defense. Mostly, we've talked about the decision making with Dickey and all that stuff. But I'm also a big advocate for, and I think you would agree, defenses make championships.
Mm-hmm. They don't make championships; they win them.
They win them. Sorry, defenses win championships. So yes, we need to figure out our scoring problem. Obviously, and I think that that's going to be like I think we have some pieces here that we can get that together in the off season and build that chemistry. What I am having issue with is seeing how we're going to solve the backline problems.
Yeah.
And maybe this gets solved with Bug, and then I don't know what Ryan Brown's recovery is going to be looking like, and when Huerta comes back, maybe that could change my mind. But it's just that this defensive situation really, really seems like it's definitely a weak point. This is like a huge weak point for us that I think we're not going to be taken seriously until we figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think that that's for me. I think that there's some missing parts there for sure. But for me, it's the midfield.
Okay, yeah.
There's just not a lot there.
I don't even there's nothing there. A lot of the time, there's nothing there.
Yeah. And when we have players going down, unable to play, trying to rotate people, and we just don't have the depth. And you need that depth in midfield, especially when you have older players.
Yeah.
Where they're more likely to pick up knocks, miss games, be on limited minutes. You can't be just throwing in these third string players and hoping for the best.
Yeah, it sucks. We're at the end, and all the things we tried to be optimistic about in the beginning turned out to be, it was false optimism.
I was catfished.
Yeah, I think you were. I think
I tried to hold on for as long as I could,
did.
but now I feel
You
very
did.
relieved that we can just try and win these next couple games without, the mild, scarce possibility.
We'll see. We'll see. The other notable stat I had down was that Utah had 23 shots. We had 3. And then Utah had 9 of those on goal, and we had 1. So we're the least threatening team, I would say, at this very moment.
I would agree.
That's not good. I think you're onto something about the midfield being why that's the case.
There's a lot of problems. It's hard to pinpoint one, but for me, that's the most. It's where it's the engine of the team, and it's team's not running well. It's the engine.
I feel like I might get a lot of loss of words just because I'm exhausted. I'm also like, I almost expect these games to go the way they've been going.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think the most painful part of it all is just like knowing that we're so bad and we can't like seem to just, I don't know, pull something out of a hat. I don't know, give us something to root for, give us some sort of something to believe in, but like we can't change the situation that we are in without an off season.
Yeah.
These injuries and everything else is just like we're kind of stuck. So hang out with your friends when you're watching these games or something because it's gonna be rough. We'll move on from that. Get into. Was there any positives? Do you have any positives from this match?
We're still not last place.
Not on point. We're tied on points.
We have a better goal differential, so we're technically still not last place.
We are hanging on by a fucking thread, though. Truly,
we could easily be last place next weekend.
That's oh man. I don't know. I don't know if we can have a worse season than the first season, but this is really bad.
Yeah.
But so we end up in last place. I'm calling this the worst season if we end
If
up in
we end
last
up in last
place.
place.
Yeah, I'm calling this the worst season if we do. And that could be just because of where we ended up in the standings and also the factors that led to that.
Yeah.
This has been a horrible ride.
Mhm.
So please do not get in last place. I'm begging you. Beat Houston. I'm desperate.
Do something.
This is desperate times right now for me, and I'm sure for the players. Come on.
It's
We can't go from being in the championship to this to last.
This is the perfect game though to just have an absolute just go off.
Do you get this tone sometimes in the way you like get optimism? And at this point now it's like triggering for me before.
Well, they have nothing left to lose.
They don't. And I really, really hope that this week you're actually right.
For once.
I really do. Yeah, like this time I'm like, oh man, I could really use this optimistic tone.
Yeah, but then
I'm
it
just
breaks your
really
heart.
Yeah, I know. And then we have to fucking meet up again and just talk about how shitty it was. And it's like, well, you were wrong again.
One of these days I'll be right.
Broken clock. Are you a broken clock? You gotta be right. You gotta be right at some point, right?
Maybe.
I hope so. I guess the one other positive is that we stopped the bleeding after halftime.
Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, and to me that says that Harvey still has the locker room. I think another coach in that situation and everything like that this game could have gone completely off the rails.
It did in the first half.
Yes.
I mean, it's the
definitely
first hat trick of the season in the NWSL.
for the season. Like what? How did that happen to us
Yeah.
against Utah?
Yeah.
That's bad. I know Utah's been playing better, but
Yeah. If you would have told me that like 2 months ago, though, I would have been like,
I would have believed it if it was like Orlando or KC or Gotham.
Chloe Lacasse has been an absolute revelation for them, though.
They're gonna be really good next year, I think. I mean, you've been on this small hype train for Utah for a few weeks. Now it's biting us in the ass, the rain.
Yeah.
Utah has scored. I think this is probably why it's worth pointing out as a positive. Utah scored 13 before this match. They'd scored 13 of their last 17 goals in the second half of games, which is just over 75%. So I think we have to give credit to our defense for regrouping.
Yeah, especially for playing down a player for so long.
Yeah, we've been in that situation before.
And won the game.
We did. Let's roll. I guess that's probably all the positives we got, right? This was a shitty game.
Yeah, it was not great. Not great. Do you want to talk about James Turner?
What were you doing, James Turner? What was going through your mind? I mean, we touched on this a little bit, but like she essentially ruined the game for the Reign. And I'm tired. She hasn't started for us for a while, right? Like she hasn't been getting regular minutes for quite a while. So then she finally gets her start and is like seems like she's gonna be playing like at least probably 70 minutes, maybe 60. And then this is what she does. Inexcusable. It's completely inexcusable for me.
Yeah. I just like no words. Just dumb decision making. Selfish. Maybe that's harsh. I don't know.
Yeah, she wasn't thinking, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's gonna look back at that and obviously no, but that's that was the game killer for us.
And it can be a learning opportunity for players. Roll your eyes at me.
I want a winning opportunity. And I want a learning opportunity. I want a winning opportunity, and she took that away from us.
Yeah. I just feel like you should be making better decisions when you're 30 years old.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Like at that point, you should know better.
Yeah. And especially if like she's part of the Wales national team. So like if they're going to be making an honest push for getting into the Euros, I mean, sometimes people play differently in club and country, but you're not gonna be going into it in great form if you're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Next negative, it's just like this is like a back and forth thing, I swear, with Dickie. It's like 1 week we're like, yeah, she was great this week, and then the next
I
week
never said great.
She had a good week one time. More than once. She's had some good games. This was not one of those. At least the first half. The goal in the 3rd minute, which I know we've had issues early goals and quick restart goals and whatever. We've had really poor defending on that. I don't know what the fuck she was doing on that first goal. So they got a corner, right? Utah got a corner and they're setting it up. Dickie's sitting in, it seemed like she was going to come out and grab the ball, right? Like
which is what she's good at.
Yes, which is where she was positioned first. And for whatever fucking reason, she decides to step back and get into the net, basically. Like get on the line.
The ball drops like maybe 2 yards away from her. I don't know why you don't come out and get that ball.
I have no clue what she saw when she decided to do that.
Well, I think that probably aids in the confusion for the defense, and why the ball ended up bouncing around for a minute was
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, she'll come get it.
Second goal. Don't know that much could have been done by Dickey on that one. And then do you want to walk through the third goal?
So yeah, the ball gets played through into the box. The cast comes onto it, and it's on Dickey's near post. She comes out to cut off the angle, and the shot comes to the near post, and her body is like oddly positioned where she's turned a little bit too too much to the side, and so when she gets her body to it, it just goes in. Like the ball hits her and then goes in.
And that got counted as a goalkeeper error, right, on
I
Fatmom?
think so. I think that's the one they're talking
Yeah,
about because
I think, yeah.
I just, I mean, she got magged on the first goal. And then this one, that's like, all you have to do is get your body in front of it. But you're just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just, ugh.
I don't, yeah, this is to me maybe there's a mental like thing going on with the players between this and the James Turner situation. They just kind of came out with the wrong, I don't know, they just didn't look ready. They didn't look ready. They didn't look hungry.
Yeah, but with her, these are mistakes that she's made
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
season.
Sure, but she does, oftentimes learn from certain stuff. And then this, I feel like the first goal, that's not an error she usually makes. She usually comes out and grabs them. So, like, I don't know. It just seemed like she wasn't thinking there.
And I'm just over having somebody, our number one goalkeeper, be somebody who is this inconsistent.
I think this match is made the argument for me that we need to go get a veteran to compete. We've talked about it and said maybe we don't know if that's the right call, and I think I'm at this point thinking that it is.
Mm-hmm. It is. There are better goalkeepers. There are better goalkeepers that deserve to have number one spots that are in this league,
Mm-hmm.
and yet we have one who has not shown that she's even the number one on our team.
I think she can be competing for the first spot. I think you've said this before. Having competition and having veteran around, then that could help her game a lot.
Yeah, because you know she's going to start in the next game because we don't have anybody else. There's really no consequence team wise or, from a fan perspective.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But don't be surprised if we make some moves, I would say, in the goalkeeper.
God, I hope so. Can we get Fallon Joyce back?
I think we all are still upset about that move.
That was.
They probably got a lot of money for that. Mystery money, but negative, unreal. I mean, not related directly to the game on the field, but we keep getting these like big games on, well, like the big network games, right? So this was on ESPN2. Yeah, was it on ESPN2?
No, it was on ESPNU for the first half.
Because there was more golf, which we covered a match where there was golf.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to stop scheduling things. And I know sports, I don't know, not very rarely do things end on time, but they need to be scheduling these things with that in mind.
At least this time it was a women's sport.
It wasn't bull riding. men's bull riding. It was women's golf last time too.
Yeah.
You're not really helping me believe, like ESPN isn't helping me believe that they care about airing and covering women's sports when they keep having these horrible overlaps.
Yeah.
Making us try to find these streams and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Something needs to get figured out there. Last negative I had listed. Howell is gonna be out for the next match for yellow card accumulation. I feel like we were just talking about this, so she really be racking up those yellow cards. I don't like it.
It's not great for us. So I don't like it either.
Because I don't think of Howell as like
Well, didn't that yellow card that she got in this game was also like
bullshit?
Yeah, it was total bullshit. She got the ball.
She got the ball. She did step on her foot afterwards, but it was a harsh. She definitely got ball, so like it was a harsh yellow.
Yeah, sure, a foul, but it's not a yellow.
No.
And then because of that, Elvis gave us a yellow.
Fucking Elvis.
God, now she's got to miss the next match, so she only has one more match with us. for this
Yeah, and
season.
then now she's also missing the last home match of the season, which really sucks.
Yeah, stupid.
Do you have any other negatives?
No, just the match as a whole. I think
The entire thing. Yeah, the entire thing was
together.
was a negative. Yeah, agreed. Post-match presser. Did you watch the player one?
Yeah,
What'd you get from that?
not a lot.
Great.
Disappointment,
Yeah, at this point it's just the same thing. Although I don't think Harvey on hers talked about poor quality because we get the point now.
No, she
I
went
think we
off
get it.
though.
She did go off. I think in this instance I've complained sometimes about when people, coaches, players complain too much about something that gets, maybe they don't feel like the call was correct. I do feel like maybe in this instance she had a little bit more ground to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure she's also just fucking sick of everything with this season. So she was really just gonna like get on our soapbox and just fucking let them have it.
Yeah.
'Cause she was really upset about the PK decision. I think rightfully so.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially with the level of replay that they have.
Yeah, her whole thing was just like goals change games.
Mm-hmm. Maybe get a player that'll score you a goal that'll change the game then.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe maybe this off season we could figure something out like that.
King did say, so it was King in Athens in the post game presser, and King said at one point, I hope we can remember what this shit feels like and not allow it to take the wind out of our sails.
That's depressing.
It's like, yeah.
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, she also talked a bit about like, yeah, I mean, we're disappointed. We want to play our best every game. We're our own biggest critics. And like, yep, don't get too hard on yourself because then you got to come back and play next week. Maybe at the end of the season, but
Yeah, because they're also playing on Friday, which is kind of a quick turnaround.
yeah. So don't get into too much reflection depression mode yet. I would like to possibly have at least one enjoyable moment within these next few games.
I think we're due for it. I also think that there's no better time for that than the last home match of the season. So
yeah, extra cautious optimism.
I think that pretty much wraps up the match. I don't really think there's too much to expand on. I think we're kind of just getting through the rest of the season as best as we can.
Yay!
Yeah. So I guess we'll roll into the final part. Cooler player of the match.
The cooler player of the match is brought to you by the Doctor's Office, a great little 12-seat bar on Capitol Hill. The owner is a big fan of the Reign and is proud to be our first sponsor. And we have decided that the Doctor's Office cooler player of the match for this game is the Reign's second half defense.
Yep. Good for them. I thought about giving it to the friends we made along the way, but I don't think we're there yet.
No.
All right. There was a positive from this, a big positive, I think. And we're going to hold on to that. So
woohoo.
Thank you, Rain, for not having the most embarrassing game we could have ever had.
Could have been a lot worse. So thank you.
And thank you again, once again, to our sponsor, the Doctor's Office. The Doctor's Office is the best place to grab a drink before or after a Rain match. Take the edge off the Rain missing the playoffs. With one of TDO's limited edition cocktails, like a Rocky Stinger, a cocktail that tastes like an Andes mint, served alongside a real one. Check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person. Cheers.
Cheers.
There is a lot of other stuff that had happened around the league. Orlando, I'm mad that we didn't get to do this.
I know.
I don't know that we could do this, but I was hoping we would get a chance to do it. But Orlando finally lost, and Portland were the ones to crush their undefeated season. But they didn't really set it up like Orlando was trying. Like Orlando didn't set it up like they were really trying to get undefeated.
No, they won the Shield last week, so they already are finishing at the top, going to be the #1 team in the league. You've got Marta, who's 100 years old. You've got all these players that have been like showing up and showing out for the season, like time to give them a rest.
Yeah.
So then they go into Portland. Portland's riding on that playoff line. They've got something to prove.
Yeah, super desperate.
Yeah, extremely desperate. And honestly, it's the worst game I've seen Orlando play this whole season.
Unsurprisingly, I would say, given the circumstances too.
Yeah, you start your B squad, you get a B squad performance.
Yeah, and you're playing a desperate Portland in Portland. And then they had said on the broadcast that like Portland had never lost 3 home matches in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to sit down and watch part of the match, I was just like, I have a bad feeling in the sense that I think Portland's going to win. And they did.
Yeah.
So, kind of a bummer we don't get to see Orlando have that perfect season. But I also, I get why they did what they did. I know you were like,
it annoys me
know.
as a competitive person. Like, I would want a lineup to go out and like to for Seb Hines to put a lineup out that would win a game. But I also understand, okay, you're trying to make this And that's the other thing too. It's not really a long push into playoffs. It's a short playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
So as much rest as you can get is good because there's not a lot of break, not a lot of opportunities to give players breaks. And you have some essential pieces there that you don't want to lose.
The thing, I don't know, it's kind of tricky because like you want momentum going into the playoffs, but like this international window is kind of screwing things up anyways. Because we've got like a little bit of a break after this next week's game, and then they've got I assume a pretty good amount of players going wherever Brazil's playing and whatever they're doing for their stuff. But there's a very good chance they're gonna be losing a lot of players for that. So the momentum and the travel and all that stuff is already gonna be a huge factor. That I guess now is the time to get them the rest. We'll see if it pays off for them because, like I said, I think momentum is a big factor in playoffs too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see.
I'll be excited to see how they do in playoffs, especially with how well their season's gone. Moving on, Angel City played North Carolina, and Kristen Press scored her first goal since she's come back from her 18 knee surgeries.
Is it 18?
No, I think she ended up having
It was like 5, right? Or something like that.
It was like 3 or more. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, her last goal she scored was June 11th, 2022. So over 2 years ago.
Wow. I gotta say I was a little skeptical that I mean she's a goal scorer, right? Like so I'm not super shocked if she's gonna come back she's gonna find something because the goal that she scored was like vintage Krista Press. But I don't know, it's been so long.
There was questions of whether she was ever going to play again.
For sure.
Let alone this season. So good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
And then they absolutely lost it and gave up a goal.
It's North Carolina, you know? You can never count out North Carolina.
No, you can't. They're a team that's always going to be in it.
Yeah. They've been bad on the road, but yeah, you can never count them out. Although if you're playing in the rain, you can almost always count us out. At least recently.
Jesus. Oh.
Gotham, we're going down playoff, looking at the top of the playoff part of the bracket, whatever we would call it. Top of the playoff standings. Gotham got 2 late goals to win against Chicago, which means now that Gotham gets to host. This is crazy. This extends to Sky Blue FC as well. Gotham gets to host their first ever playoff match, like at home.
It's crazy.
They've never done that before. So, it only took like probably breaking a bunch of rules and stealing a bunch of players. But they did it. They finally did it in the most honest way possible.
They did. And Chicago's coach got red carded.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He won't be there for the next game.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the momentum. And I think this is kind of why it gets so like I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs because there's just like we get this like kind of break, usually with an international break. And then we pick it up wherever we pick it up. And then like who knows what teams look like when they get back.
Yeah. It's like, which team am I going to see?
No idea.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart Podcast Network, which now includes Nos Arietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, you gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit sounderatheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
Oh, this is the big news. This is the really big news we have to cover today. The Reign maybe have the best name in the league and the best branding in the league now that we've gone back to, the Queen. But we have competition now. We do have some serious competition now. And it is Boston's has revealed their NWSL team name, and it is Boss Nation Football Club. Thoughts?
I thought it was a joke.
I did too.
And it's not even it's BOS.
Well, yeah, because Boston doesn't have 2 S's.
I know, but then I just think of it as Bo's Nation.
I know, Bo's Nation.
Not only this. So that was announced yesterday. That was announced on Monday. Today, they unveiled their marketing campaign for Boss Nation.
Boss Nation sounds like they're gonna do like a bunch of clubs,
Yeah.
like club nights or something.
Yeah, it sounds like a rap label.
Which
From Boss Nation
is
Records.
well, it sounds like one of those things you might hear back when you were downloading music from LimeWire or like Napster,
Boss
and
Nation.
and then it would just like echo in the background. That's what that sounds like.
It does. But
Not sure it's working for an NWSL team though.
no, so it's not great. The name itself is not great. And everybody yesterday was like, all right, like, let's see. They rolled out this video today that's absolute fucking bonkers, dude.
Balls.
It just says
Balls,
like
balls, balls.
20 plus times.
I'm like, what was the thought process in this?
It's just all about like literal like we've got steel balls. Boston loves its balls. I actually took a note. There's a quote in this video that says Boston loves its balls.
I think what I said is, did a 13-year-old boy come up with the balls campaign? Like, how old are we?
You have to wonder. And someone on Twitter found the Instagram post from the company that came up with this marketing campaign. The company is Colossus Creative Co. And they're the company that Boss Nation FC hired for the launch. And they say in this post, part of it says, quote, thanks to our brave clients for having the guts to be wildly provocative with this launch, unquote. It's not provocative. It's just gross and
Bad.
stupid.
It's bad. It's gross. It doesn't belong in this league. It doesn't belong in a professional sports league.
No.
It's embarrassing.
It's extremely embarrassing, especially for a women's sports team.
Ugh.
To make it about balls, to make some like fucking middle school joke.
They also had 0 of the pro women's teams featured in this rollout video.
No, so they had the NHL team. They had the Celtics. They even had
Red Sox, Patriots.
Yeah.
Whatever. All the men's teams were featured, but they didn't have their like hockey team that was in the final last year.
Mm-hmm.
But like completely out of touch.
No, it just seems like they hired men to do this, and they thought this was a great idea.
Yeah.
And that is
100%.
not the trajectory that this league is on. This seems like an absolute regression.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's gross to me. I hate it.
Yeah.
It is funny how much engagement it's getting because it's so bad. But also, was that like, do they think that's smart and that was the point?
Not when the fans are the fans of the NWSL. Like, this is, to me, is just like, you're so out of touch about who these fans are.
Not even that. The players.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. On the video post on Instagram, so many comments. The first 2 that came up on my feed, because I follow these people on the balls video, is Nikki Stanton going, just what?
Mm-hmm.
And then Ella Duderick saying, this is weird.
Yep, correct.
I did see a tweet that do people who liked Portland's tattoo jersey also like the name Boss Nation FC?
I'm trying to see something. I saw that one. I thought that was hilarious. Someone like commented no, and I'm like, that's not what you look like though in that jersey. So and then Quinn had also commented on that video, because there's a weird point at that video where like they were talking about the players that they could have on the team or whatever, and they're like, no balls necessary. And Quinn was like, this is a bit turfy, this like video, like what the fuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I agree with that. And then it sounds like Quinn's comment got like hidden, right?
Yeah, they posted after that and said, love how my comment was hidden by Instagram, quote, calling out transphobia shouldn't be hidden. This doesn't represent the league and it is such poor messaging.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's crazy that they rolled this fucking message out in the year 2024 for a women's sports league that has, gender non-conforming, non-binary players. And we're also just trying to be a very accepting league of various gender identities. And then this is what they're want to put out.
And to make it about bodies and male anatomy, to make something that is so good and so good for women, like a professional soccer league that is thriving in the United States to make it about male anatomy and in that space balls is just such a bad fucking look.
Yeah, big yikes.
Huge yikes. Like, I feel like I deserve compensation for having that splashed all over every part of social media and
I
like
agree.
news sites that I follow.
Yeah, I might have to block them.
I kind of want to see the downfall.
If they're smart, they will change this. They will delete the video and they will go back to the drawing board, which we have seen teams do when they get really bad feedback and bad reactions. Louisville being one of them. And we've also seen it in the MLS as well. Chicago famously put out really bad branding.
Yeah.
You know, it's not too late. You can change what you fucked up. Anyways,
Yeah.
I feel bad for everybody in Boston who was excited about this team.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any other thing from the league you want to talk about?
No, there's some more crap going down in San Diego, but I feel like we should wait for that to pan out a little bit. But what an absolute mess down there.
No joke.
So we have a chance for redemption on Friday, October 18th. This Friday, 7 p.m. at home. So at Lumen against Houston Dash. So what they would call this is the toilet bowl. The battle at the bottom, if you will.
Yeah.
It's the last home match of the season for the Reign. We're tied on points with Houston, so whoever wins this game will not be last place. Whoever loses this game will be last place.
And if we tie, we remain second to last.
Remain second to last. Houston did win last weekend against San Diego.
But as we know, San Diego is kind of a dumpster fire these days.
Yep.
Bad vibes there all around.
Bad vibes. So, and then after this Friday's game, we got a big break before the final match of the season at Orlando.
We'll see what happens against Houston. They've been playing better, unfortunately. They also finally got rid of their coach who knows what the hell he was doing, but he's not there anymore. So they actually have some things getting put together. But they're capable of being bad. Let's take advantage.
I'm into that.
I mean, I know we're also capable of being bad, but let's win the last game of the season at home.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to make Megan watch this game with me so that if I completely break down,
I was like, if you start crying,
I won't be alone.
Hopefully we don't have to cry.
Maybe there'll be tears of joy.
Yeah, honestly, I'll have a lot of emotions if they win this game. And I'm sure the players will too.
It's going to be a big day for them.
I think it's going to wrap up this week. Sorry, it was a downer and we didn't have a lot to really break down in depth, but this season is almost over and we are not good right now and it has not been fun.
But we're doing our best.
We are doing our best, we think. So we want to thank everybody who's been listening and made this podcast what it is today. And let's just all like hold hands virtually, and we're gonna hold hands and
pray to the soccer gods.
Yeah, pray to the soccer gods for next year to be better. And by better, I mean at least over the playoff line.
Yes. Goal for next year, make the playoffs.
We're on social media if you want to follow us. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. Same handle there, Cooler Guild Pod.
We have an email, and we love emails. So please send us an email to thecoolerguild@gmail.com. We are also on our main website, sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild.
We're on YouTube as well, youtube.com/@the Cooler Guild. We also now have a tip option, so if you don't want to do a full subscription to Sounder at Heart, you can just leave us a nice little tip with all the posts that go out for each episode. We would love it if you go and rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening. Leave us a nice review. Leave us a funny review. Tell us where we're wrong. Tell us what you believe.
5 stars.
5 stars, though. Make sure it's 5.
Please don't kill us in the algorithm for the podcast.
Yeah. We're like 99th right now in soccer podcasts. That's pretty big for a Reign podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. Thanks to you people. But if you don't do 5 stars, you're gonna screw us over.
We already have enough hurt this season. Please don't compound it.
Don't make it worse, please. All right. I think that's gonna do it for this week. I'm Coop.
I'm Van.
Bye.
Bye.
You just go.
You go.
No, you go. No, you go.
It's like that stupid Geico ad where it's like the Pacific Northwest cars like trying to
Oh yeah. Wasn't that Pemco?